So Mehdi Hasan, he was talking with an Iranian political commentator, okay, Mohammad Marandi. And Mehdi Hasan ends up making a complete fool of himself, doing his usual CIA talking points about Iran and Syria. And Marandi handled him really well. Take a look.
A lot of people in the West who are condemning US economic sanctions on Iran, they also do point out, though, that when Iran does have spare cash, when it does have millions of dollars to spend, it spends a lot of those dollars on proxy wars in Syria, in Yemen, in Lebanon, in Palestine. Why not use that money at home, they say, on your own people?
Come on, let's be serious here. The United States invaded Afghanistan from across the world. They invaded Iraq. They and their allies spent tens of billions of dollars destroying Syria, supporting extremists. You know that as well as I. You know about the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency document of 2012, and you had an interview with General Michael Flynn, who was the head of that.
I'm not here to re-argue the Syrian war. I'm asking, why not spend that money at home when you're saying that you're being crippled by U.S. sanctions? When you do have money, you spend it on military support for the Assad regime or the Houthi rebels or whatever it is.
You know that's nonsense. Iran spends money at home, and that's why Western countries have failed in the fight against the coronavirus, and we see the catastrophe taking place in the United States and Europe. And despite the sanctions,
Indeed,
we've done much better. And we wouldn't have
there
been
are catastrophes
in Syria.
Across the world, but
we would not have been in Syria. Iran
and spends hundreds of dollars.
Let me respond. Yes, let me respond. If Iran hadn't entered Syria in 2013, the black flags would have been over Damascus as we speak right now. In Iraq, if Iran wasn't there to defend Baghdad, the city would have collapsed in the face of the same ISIS that the United States and regional countries, which you know quite well, allowed them to rise. And then we would have to fight. And
Mohammed Marandi, we've discussed these conflicts on the show many times before. I'm not here to re-argue Iraq or Syria, etc. I'm simply pointing out that, as you say, Iran is not a poor country. It does have funds, and it spends a lot of that money abroad. All I'm saying is, why not spend more of that money at home now you're in the middle of a crisis?
No, Iran does spend money at home. But if Iran hadn't prevented the fall of these countries, if Iran hadn't helped these governments and these countries and the people of Syria and Iraq to defend themselves against these extremists, we'd be fighting these extremists in Iran, and we'd have to pay a much greater price today just to create stability in this country. Okay. So actually, if you want Iran to spend more money on its own people, then stop intervening in countries like Iraq. Stop intervening and destroying Libya, Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, Yemen.
Pathetic journalism from Mehdi Hasan. Okay, that was really atrocious. Mohammed Marandi, every single thing he said is 100% on point. Coronavirus is just as much an existential threat as having ISIS on your fucking doorstep, okay? Radicals, extremists, jihadists. Why would you want them in your fucking backyard? I mean, what kind of a stupid fucking question is that? Why did you spend money fighting ISIS? People want to chop your fucking heads off. Why did you do that? What? Has Mehdi Hasan lost his fucking brain cells? And then, I'm not here to re-argue the Syrian war. Why? Because the answer doesn't suit you? You fucking hack? You fucking mouthpiece for who? For Al Jazeera English. Where's Al Jazeera from? Qatar. That's where Al Jazeera is based. And who has been funding ISIS? Who's been funding these radicals, the jihadists that have been trying to topple Assad? Qatar and Saudi Arabia. They've been trying to export this Wahhabism for fucking decades, right? So Mehdi Hasan is playing stupid here, as if he doesn't know any better, because he's being paid to play stupid. It's so funny the way he tries to portray the question as if like the Iranians are irresponsible and, you see, you didn't use your money wisely. You didn't use it domestically. You abandoned your people. You didn't fight coronavirus. You went and you helped Assad, the dictator. That's the narrative he's trying to frame. That's what he's saying, which is complete fucking horseshit. The war in Syria didn't start 3 months ago with coronavirus. The war in Syria has been going on since 2011. So, I mean, unless you knew there was going to be an outbreak of coronavirus, 9 years ago, maybe you should have told the Iranians that. I'm pretty sure the Iranian government has done exorbitant amounts more for its own people than the American government has, okay? And that is despite the sanctions from the US, from their allies, trying to crush the Iranian people, making sure that they don't have any medicines and they die through this economic warfare and economic terrorism. And the same thing for Syria. And this is before coronavirus. These sanctions predate coronavirus. The US and their allies have made sure that even in Syria and Iran, you can't import things like heating oil, like dialysis machines. This stuff has been going on for ages now. It's very interesting that he's asking this to the Iranians when, if you look at the response from the Americans, I mean, America's military budget is enormous. And what do? They go and pay for armed rebels in Syria. They prop up jihadists. They create ISIS. And now when you have a coronavirus pandemic, oh, we got no masks. Oh, we got no respirators. Oh, we got no ventilators. Oh, our nurses and doctors, they're coming into work dressed in garbage bags. Oh, there's fucking bodies in the streets. And you're worried about the Iranians mismanaging their fucking money? Not once in your lifetime will you ever see Mehdi Hasan ask that same question to a US politician. Never. The fucking double standard, man, is unreal. Why are you spending hundreds of millions of dollars on proxy wars? What? I think you're asking the wrong actors here, my friend. Okay? Last time I checked, Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Turkey and Israel and the United States and the UK and France are the ones spending millions of fucking dollars on proxy wars, not Iran. Okay? As much as you want to brainwash people into hating Iran, as much as you want to brainwash people into hating Syria, this is horseshit. Okay? So go fuck yourself.
If Iran hadn't entered Syria in 2013, the black flags would have been over Damascus as we speak right now.
This is true, man. This is true. The armed rebels, they got all the way into Jobar. Jobar is a district in Damascus, okay? Why don't I just show you the Google Maps? So you see, this is the district of Jobar. Jobar is completely leveled, okay? It looks like Berlin in 1945. That's what it looks like now. Because that's how far the terrorists got. And they had dug out a very, very sophisticated tunnel network as well. You see old Damascus right here? That's the center. That's the center, right? The Umayyad Mosque. That's the center of the city. Look how fucking close they got. That's no fucking joke, all right? Abbasin Square, Sa'at al-Abbasin. Like, you could throw a fucking pebble from the window into Jobar. All right, that's how close they got. All right? And Mehdi Hasan, the fucking genius, is asking, Iran, why did you help your neighbors? Why did you help them instead of letting them just be, invaded by ISIS? Wasn't that a stupid thing to do? Shouldn't you have used your money for coronavirus, which nobody even fucking knew about? What a dishonest hack. Seriously. I mean, this is just garbage. Response from Aaron Matei from the Grayzone does excellent work. He says, Mehdi gets owned here. He tries to chide Iran for spending money on the Syrian war. When Merendi explains that Iran fought that war to stop ISIS and Al-Qaeda, Mehdi claims that he's not here to re-argue the Syrian war. Then don't ask about it. Thank you. We got something from Max Blumenthal as well. He says, good seminar on how to bombard your guest with neocon GCC talking points. Interrupt him when he doesn't give you the answer you want and still get owned. Yeah, that's quite accurate, I'd say. Right? By the way, pay attention to the framing. Oh, your support for the Assad regime. It didn't say the Syrian government, it says the Assad regime, which again implies this dictatorial, authoritarian system, right? The vocabulary is very important here. Do you think Mehdi Hasan would ever say the Trump regime? Do you think he's used that phrase once in his entire career? Which is really interesting because he and his colleagues in the mainstream media constantly say that Trump is a fascist, but they never use the term Trump regime. They only reserve the term regime for governments abroad that they don't like and that they want to overthrow. That's what's going on. Brainwashing, conditioning, programming. Yes, I mean, this is their job. This is the media's job. What a lot of people don't understand about the Middle East, why Iran, why Hezbollah, why they've been supporting Syria. The reason is because these countries, okay, they believe in a cause. It's the anti-imperialist cause. It's the fight for the Palestinian cause. And so whenever you have the United States coming and planting a disease like ISIS or any of the other armed opposition groups that they've supported. They get together because Iran, Hezbollah, and Syria, they understand that the enemy of one is the enemy of all, right? If one of them falls, everyone else is going to get screwed, right? And I mean, they already took down Iraq. Look at Iraq. They already destroyed it. Iraq is basically a giant US military base now. And if Syria had fallen, man, they're going after Iran next. So again, completely dishonest garbage framing from Mehdi Hasan. Mohammed Marandi put him back in his place, for sure.